To prevent the spread of COVID-19, here's a few points to note for returning to the workplace. Adopt flexible working hours. Wear a mask when taking public transport. Check body temperature when entering office buildings. Avoid crowded lifts as far as possible. Avoid holding or joining large-scale meetings. Reduce face-to-face contacts with coworkers. Arrange flexible meal hours. Avoid meal gatherings. Wash hands frequently and maintain good environmental hygiene at the workplace. After work, avoid crowded places. If you feel unwell, don't go to work and seek prompt medical advice. For more details on prevention.
Hello everyone. We would be starting the webinar soon as other participants are joining. Thank you.
To prevent the spread of COVID-19, here's a few points to note for returning to the workplace. Adopt flexible working hours. Wear a mask when taking public transport. Check body temperature when entering office buildings. Avoid crowded lifts as far as possible. Avoid holding or joining large-scale meetings. Reduce face-to-face contacts with coworkers. Arrange flexible meal hours. Avoid meal gatherings. Wash hands frequently and maintain good environmental hygiene at the workplace. After work, avoid crowded places. If you feel unwell, don't go to work and seek prompt medical advice. For more details,
Hello everyone. I hope all of you are keeping safe. Abhi Sharma and I will be your host for this today. Let me also introduce you to our present George, Mr. Irfan, Ms. Sirfa Kaur. Hello everyone. How are you doing?
We are doing very well, Avnish. Thank you so much for asking.
And hello Irfan, are you there? Ms. Sirfa Kaur?
Yeah, I'm there, Avnish. Thank you very much.
Hello Irfan. Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
So yes, I can hear you very well, and hope all of you can see my screen as well.
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay. So, well, first I would like to introduce a few as our present for this session today, and at the same time, I would like to address the audience before we start this session that as all of you can see now, like you are in listen mode only. So that means in case if you have any questions, so there's an option, there's a chat box or a question box in this control panel, so you can go there and you can write all questions, whatever questions you have, and we'll be answering all your questions once we finish this session. So, Mr. Fakor, over to you. So I'll be running this presentation, and then you can please address the audience.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. As you all know, we're doing a presentation on COVID Shield. It's a new application that was developed by Ipmc. And it's an application that has very powerful functionalities and modules that are designed to protect you and your staff. And some of the modules you would see: employee health management, visitors management, housekeeping, staff requests, and admin functions. So for this particular presentation, we have our main presenter, who is Georgie George, Avnish, who is a team member, and then Ali Mohammed, who is also a team member of Ipmc. Before we start the presentation, I would like to introduce Ipmc. You all know Ipmc. It's been around for over 23 years, and we have over 700 employees. And in this market, we are the leader in IT solutions. Some of the solutions we cover are infrastructure, that's cloud, data center, managed services, network, power, cooling, security. We also cover software such as ERP, that's enterprise resource management solutions, robotic process automation, cybersecurity solutions, CRM solutions, core banking applications, and even niche development applications per the requirements. We also do services, consulting services, managed services, and SOC services too as well. And we also have our training arm. The brands we cover range from Dell, EMC, Hitachi, name any brand or any OEM, and we will be able to deliver to you. So I already introduced COVID Shield, so I'd like to hand over to the main presenter, Georgie, to take over and demonstrate how the solution works. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fakor. So, okay. So, Georgie, if you are ready with your presentation, so I think before that, would you mind if we run a small poll?
Of course, Avnish, why not? I mean, I was waiting for you to jump in. You know, you always have some interesting questions. Why not you run a question for us? It's always good to know the perspective of our audience for the day.
Great. So to the audience, now I'm going to run a quick poll. So you will see a question on your screen, and then you can choose the answers as per your choice. So I'm going to run this poll now on your screen. Okay. So here's the poll. So hope you can see hope you can see the poll right on the screen, Georgie?
No, it was there for a few seconds. It just disappeared. So could you just see?
Okay, so sorry, let me just share it again, something which, okay.
Yeah,
now can you see?
But
Okay,
it says
wait.
the result.
wait. Sorry.
No problem.
I think I missed out something. Anyways, so this is what poll I was supposed to run. I think I did some mistake somewhere. So, okay, the question was basically, do you feel protected from COVID-19 at present? So I think I missed out something. Georgie, I think from the audience point of view, I would like you to put your comments on that, if you don't mind.
No problem. I think, there is an obvious reason why you asked that. As we are sailing through this pandemic of COVID-19, there are a lot of, concerns around. So, but I think, I want to be very neutral here. I don't want to say answer in a yes or no. But from my side, the message that I would like to take to the participants, the audience we have today, is the fact that, we are still not over with the pandemic. So the key here is that we maintain self-discipline, right? And of course, our frontline workers, service providers are, trying hard day in and day out to keep us safe. So, a big salute to them. But at the same time, the key is we maintain self-discipline. So that's from my side.
Great. So, Georgie, I think I'll pass on to you now. So you can take it forward and you can show the presenter. So I'm going to make you presenter now. Over to you, Georgie.
Thank you. I hope you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Georgie George. Sefakor, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction to all our participants today, to let them know who we are and what we do. And once again, I greet you all and welcome you on behalf of the team at IPMC. We are glad you joined us. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us this afternoon. And as we at IPMC, it's our organizational endeavor to come up with innovative solutions to the market to help businesses. And these days, we know that organizations across are pretty much focused on their business's digital strategy. And in this series, we thought of bringing out an app, okay, a mobile app that would offer new ways to connect, collaborate, and conduct business, all through a zero contact environment. Now, while we were putting together this app, we also thought, considering the present pandemic scenario that we are into, we are sailing through these COVID-19 situation. So we wanted to also ensure that innovatively, how do we make this app meaningful for the present time as well? So in the solution, we are trying to, bring in the elements that will help your organization to protect your staff, their health, and also this app will ensure business continuity during these tough times. So as you all know, the businesses have been struggling for quite some time. There has been almost no activities, economic activities that were happening for some time. And now slowly and gradually, the businesses are, trying to come back and reopen and restart the offices and factories, right? So during these time, there are some serious questions, that's going through the minds of, the staff, the visitors, the leaders, all those who are coming to your office. So from a company perspective, if I have to put it, I'm sure the business owners are asking questions such as how to control infection when staff comes to work, how to track visitors and avoid infection coming into company. All the more in case of an eventuality, how do I respond quickly to the crisis situation? Similarly, when we are trying to reopen the business, the staffs who are supposed to come back and join us, even they have same questions running through their mind, like how will the company ensure our health and safety, and how and what if I get infected from a colleague or outsider. And on to top it, we also have the norms, certain compliances which have been laid down by the government, by the local authorities that we need to comply with. Now, I'm sure all of you would have listened to our honorable president's speech the other day, where he was talking about the measures taken against spread of coronavirus. And there were three key highlights from his speech, if you would have noticed. One was he laid a lot of emphasis on we being very vigilant while we are reopening and restarting our businesses. So he said, we need to continue to maintain social distancing, necessary measures of hygiene and safety protocol should be followed. The second thing that he spoke about was that with the help of security force, with support from them, the response team is getting strengthened to deal with any eventuality. And third, and the most important thing that he spoke in that address to the nation was that there are regulatory agencies who would undertake random check to ensure that the businesses are following these rules, or in other words, the norms and compliance which has been laid down. And he also said that if any institute fails to adhere to these directives, then in that case, immediately the businesses will be prohibited from functioning further, or in other words, relevant sanctions could also be applied on case-to-case basis. So, taking all this into consideration, the questions that which are going through our mind, through the minds of owners, the minds of staff, and taking into account what our government and our president is saying, we thought while we bring this app to you, we should innovatively try to, address these concerns where we encourage employees to return and operate at a safe workplace. We should be able to help businesses to execute and monitor operating norms, whereby you minimize the possibility of incident reporting, and in case of an eventuality, you can resort to rapid response. And of course, you don't want to get into any problems, so you need to ensure that you are being compliant as far as your organization is concerned, following all government norms for operating in COVID time. So as I mentioned at the beginning, so you should look at this app from two perspectives. One, this will be an addition to your business's digital strategy that will offer you new ways to connect, collaborate, and conduct businesses across the key five areas of your business. At the same time, it would also be a great addition for you to manage business during the COVID time. So this is an integrated app which has been built using Oracle's Ipmc technology, and the tool we used is a progressive web app. So why I'm saying that is, this app is not available for you to download from a Play Store or an App Store. This app would be installed in your premise on one of your servers, and the users would access it using a public IP. Now, this is a ready to deploy app that we have brought, and this is platform independent. This is device agnostic, which means you can use it any mobile device, mobile phone, tablets, and even you can use it desktops also to access it. And there is no dependency on whether the device that you use has to be specifically Android or iOS. You can use it on any platform, iOS, Android, Windows. There is no limitation to that. Now, in addition to that, all the transaction that would be carried out on this app, okay, that data will be available to you to be further analyzed. So we are offering a flexible reporting engine as well as part of this app. So thereby you can turn the data into intelligent information to take informed decision. Now you can leverage on this app to implement, manage, report, and communicate all aspects of COVID-19 management strategy. Now, which are these 5 areas that I've been talking about? So these 5 areas are the visitor management. So any threat to your business in the form of a visitor can be avoided, because we're capturing the information of the visitor, including a self-declaration by the visitor himself. So this will also ensure that you are being compliant. Employees' health. So you need to monitor. You need to do routine checkup of your employee while they are at work to ensure that their health and safety is taken care of. Sanitization. Now, this has never been a prominent function till date, but today it is a very critical, function of any organization. Now, sanitization needs to be carried out, as opposed to what used to be done, say, once or twice a day. We need to ensure we do it many times, and that means that regular inspection is also essential to ensure that systematic and defined protocols around sanitization is also being followed. Right. So in Honorable President's address to the nation itself, there was a lot of emphasis on maintaining necessary hygiene, at a personal level and at organizations. So another thing is the user panel. So all your staff, your employees will have access to the app, whereby they can log any complaint, they can track the complaint, they would know what are the do's and don'ts that they need to follow while they are at workplace. And another thing, like what Mr. President said, he is ensuring that at the national, regional, and district level, the response team is being strengthened with the help of security force to deal with any eventuality. Similarly, at our workplace also, as an organization, during these times, we need to ensure that we have a team of volunteer designated for the different areas. Why so? Because suppose if there is an eventuality, then immediately the staff would know whom to get in touch with, and that way you could respond to any incident quickly. You could have a rapid response, and you can take timely actions. So that is also something which forms part of the user panel, where he would know to the area that he or she is working, who is the person that they need to reach out to in case of an eventuality. Now, that's about a brief introduction. Let me now switch to the demo. and show you the utility of this app, how you could use it to the benefit of your business, and how it will make it very efficient for you to manage business during these COVID times, when you're reopening your businesses and factories. Avnish, I would like you to just step in for 30 seconds while I switch my screen. Would you like to ask any questions to our participants?
Judy. Sure, Judy. First of all, thank you very much for such a detailed presentation. So let me run a poll here. So to all the audience, now I'm going to run a poll. So here's a poll on your screen. So there's a question that says, do you have a COVID response team in your office? So you can choose either of these, yes, no, or not sure. So I'll be closing this poll in next 10 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I'm going to close this poll now, and now you can see the results on your screen. So, okay, 45% people say yes, they have a COVID response team in their office. 36% says no, and 18% says not sure. Great. So, Joji, what do you say on this?
Numbers. Yeah, those are encouraging numbers to see that 45% of our audience have already identified and they understand the importance. And for the rest also, I think once we go through the present, demo of the app, you would get to know how convenient and easy it is to, manage a team of COVID response at your office by using this app. Thank you very much, Avnish. I think I'm ready now, so we could move to the demo.
Okay, please, over to you.
Is my screen visible? Could you just confirm that to me?
Yes.
Yes, Jyoti.
Thank you. So this is the interface of the app. So here you would log in into the app using your credentials such as username and password. So I'm going to quickly put in my username and password. And once you have put the username and password, there would be a list of all the branches of your organization, head office, which will be shown in this drop down list. So the user who is trying to log in will choose the branch or head office to which he or she is associated with, and then select that and log in. Now, as soon as you log in, you can see there are several options which are available here. However, let me say this, that it totally depends on what user access and privilege has been offered to a particular user by the administrator of the app. Depending on that, he or she, when the user logs in, will be able to see the functions of the app. Now, not necessarily that everybody will get to see all the functions available on the app. Depending on the user right and access, he or she would see the functions of the app that are available for the user to operate. Now, however, irrespective of the user who is logging in, irrespective of his or her rights and privileges, there is this dedicated.
Hello, Joji.
Yes.
Your voice is a little bit. Now it's okay. Now it's better.
You can hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, a little better. Can you speak again, please?
Okay.
Okay. Now it's better.
All right. So yeah, I was saying, so there is this dedicated. There is this dedicated area which will be used to broadcast any alerts or messages. Okay, so as you can see, for an example, we have designated Friday, 12th of June to fumigate a particular area within the organization. The first floor of the office would be fumigated between 6 to midnight. So you are flashing a message, you're broadcasting a message to all the staff to avoid accessing the first floor while the fumigation would be on. So these kind of alerts and any kind of messages you can broadcast, dedicated area would be used to do so. Now let's start by the visitor management transaction. Here, as soon as you come to the home page, you'll see there are pre-configured stickers which are available. So these stickers would be used to, get quick information. Like, for example, how many visitors you have today, how many are still in the premise, okay, how many visitors you have had in the current month till date, or in the last week or in last month. So these information is available for a quick view. And if you click on any of these, widget, it will quickly show you the details. Okay, so I can quickly view from here. These are the visitors who had come to the office today. Now let's go about, registering a visitor who is coming to your premise or your factory. Now, before that, let me tell you, this function of the app will be deployed on the mobile device at the entry gate, or say at the reception, wherever you choose to, register the visitor. So that particular area of the organization will be, accessing this function of the app, not everybody, right? Now, when you look at the visitor management form, there are several information that we are capturing form, right from visitors name to mobile number, address, visitors category. Like for example, the visitor who is coming in, what category of visitor is he? Is he a supplier? Is he a customer? Is he a candidate? So you select that. Then the purpose of the visit, whether he or she is here for an interview, meeting, personal purpose, or any other. So all this information, as you see, will be captured. Now, more and more emphasis has been laid down by government to, capture the ID proof. There is a reason to that, like national ID or passport or tribal license. And similarly, you would see that, of course, you will be capturing the temperature when the visitor is coming in. And if there is any abnormality in the temperature of the visitor, you could very well ask the visitor to, go back and take medical assistance, and you can deny permission for the visitor to enter the premise. Now, there is another thing like mode of transport. What was the mode of transport that the visitor used while coming to your office or factory, whether it was a public transport or personal transport, etc. Now, these information will be vital when it comes to contact tracing. Now, God forbid, if this person is tested for COVID ever, then if there is a need for contact tracing, then these information will play a vital role. So therefore, it is important that you capture this information. Now, another question that comes to mind immediately is, do we have to capture this information every time? I'll say no. This is where you save time. Now, in a traditional, register or a book which you used to maintain to take down the information of the visitor, there every time that the visitor comes in, he has to fill in the detail. But here, you just ask him to fill the information once, and since it is saved into your database, the next time onwards, when the visitor comes in, all he has to do is give out his mobile number, and by just keying in the mobile number, the data which is already available with us will get auto-populated onto this form. So as you can see, in all the subsequent visit, all that the visitor has to do is give out his mobile number, and the rest of the information which is available will get auto-populated. Now, some of these fields you would see are marked in red. It indicates that these are the mandatory fields that you need to ask the visitor to fill in. Now, though we say that the data would get auto-populated onto the form, there are still one or two things that you will have to ask the visitor to give out whenever he's coming for the second, third, or any subsequent visit to your premise. What are those information? Like, whom is he intending to meet during this particular visit? Because last time he would have met somebody else. It could be the same person, or the person's name could also change. What's the purpose? Now, last time he was here for a meeting. This time it could be that he's here for some personal reason or some other reason or interview. So you could just make a note of that. And of course, the third and most critical information is to check the body temperature and capture that. Of course, there's an optional field here to capture the information of any belonging that the visitor is carrying. Like, for example, if this guy is coming in with a laptop, you just, enter that. And of course, the mode of transport. Now, you can also capture the image of the visitor, okay? And the camera of the mobile device that you are using, say, if you're using a mobile phone or a tablet. And as I said, even you could use a desktop or a laptop, with a built-in or standalone camera. So you select that and you can click a photo, and then you take the signature, you save it, and then you save the information. Now, as soon as I save this information, okay, so the visitor is now registered with me, but there is one more step that you need to follow. This is to ensure that you're being compliant, okay, that you will ask the visitor to declare himself, so this is self-declaration form. So there are just 4-5 questions, quick yes/no answers that we are looking from the visitor, like, does he have any flu-like symptoms? Like, does he have a fever, cough, sore throat, any complaints? So he will say yes or a no. Similarly, the person who is visiting, does he have any travel history within last 14 days? So you need to ask this question. Why we are asking this is, again, 2 reasons. If he's showing any symptoms or if he has a recent travel history, you could very well ask the person, to go back and seek medical assistance, and you can deny the permission. At the same time, since the visitor himself is declaring this information, tomorrow, in case of an eventuality, at least you will not be held responsible. You could very well show this to the audit team to prove that the customer or the visitor had declared this information on his own. So that way you are safeguarded, right? So similarly, these 3-4 questions you ask and you submit it. Now, the moment you submit it, another thing that we are saying is to get rid of or eliminate the use of those plastic tags that you used to offer as a visitor pass, because that is also another way of causing infection. Because if the same tag is used by several people visiting your premise, could also result in a possibility of spreading the infection. So what we say is, we will give you a QR code based visitor pass. So you print this QR code based visitor pass, and how it would help is, during the time of exit, okay, what the visitor would do is, he would simply flash this QR code based printout that he has in the form of a visitor pass in front of the camera of the device that you're using. So the camera of your device, be it the mobile phone or tablet, whatever you're using, will act as the QR code scanner. So you need not worry about or bother about buying an additional hardware for this, not required. And in a contactless way, he would exit the premise. Okay, so if you see, when the visitor is coming to exit, there is an option for scan QR code. So you start this, and he would flash the QR code in front of the camera, and it would be scanned, and he is good to exit. Now, alternatively, just in case, if the QR code is not being scanned, then in that case, what you could do is simply, take his mobile number to search the visitor, and you exit him. So that is another alternate way to exit the customer. Last but not the least, as I said in my presentation, all the transaction that you're doing on this app, in every function of this app, we have given a dedicated flexible reporting, whereby, like, see, in a traditional setup where you are maintaining a register, say for that matter, where you manually key in the information using a pen, okay. Now, if you were to ask questions like how many times a visitor visited, or whom all did he met, what was the purpose of the visit, what are the category of visitors who are coming to my premise. Now, to find answers to these questions, you have to go through a lot of pages, and still it could be next to impossible for you to gather and consolidate these data. Here, if you look at this report, it's a flexible report. We say so because there are a lot of actionable that you can perform. Like, you can slice and dice the data, you can create various combination and permutation, and you can further analyze this data which is available to you. Like, you can add, delete columns, add filters, do sorting, convert it into a chart. You can make a diagrammatic representation. You can even do a pivot. Download this report, save it to yourself, and you also have this beautiful feature which is called subscription. So whereby you can simply put the email address, and you can send this report in an email to anybody who seeks the report. And on the other hand, if you want certain reports to be available to you at a certain frequency, say on a daily basis, weekly or monthly basis, to do certain analysis, you could very well, create your own set of flexible report, and you can set the frequency. So you subscribe the email address. There could be multiple email addresses to which you want to send this at a certain frequency, say daily basis you want a report. You enter a start and end date, and you simply apply. So without even logging into the system would automatically fetch this report and send it to you in your email address, which has been subscribed here. Now, this will make it, very convenient for you to, audit and also stay compliant by doing the analysis of the information which you are capturing through this system. Now let's move on to the other function, which is employee. Now in the employee health, again, this function of the app will be residing on the device which is put up at the reception area, because or at the entrance gate. Now, depending on organization to organization, wherever you mark the attendance for the day of the staff who are coming in for the shift, that's where you will give access of this function, because this would be used by the employees to mark their attendance and declare their health when they are coming in for the shift. And as I said, you could designate volunteers in your office who will have this function running on their handheld mobile device, and they can go around to the various areas of the office during a shift hour, and can multiple time they can check the employee's body temperature. Okay, so you can do routine checkup multiple times during a shift, and the volunteers would conduct that using this function of the app. Okay, so let me show you here too. As you saw in the previous function, when you come to the home page, there are pre-configured, what you say, the tickers that helps you with quick information, like how many employees are there in the office today, how many of them have been checked for their temperature during the shift, are there anyone complaining about any sickness or showing any symptoms, were there any in the previous week, so all that information is there for you to quickly, you can simply click here on this highlighted button, which is details with an underline. So you click on that and you get to see the quick information right from here. Now, entry. So here, there are two provisions. Now you might ask, if I already have an existing set of database of our employee, can I upload that? Yes, you provide us these three information: employee ID, employee name, and mobile number in an Excel. We will upload it for you as a one-time exercise. Or the other convenient way to do it, the day one when you roll out this app, that first day you take this three information from the employee, and key in here, and you save the information. And from second day onwards, the employee does not have to, key in all the information. All you got to do is just ask for the employee ID. And the moment you enter it, the rest of the information, like the employee's name and mobile number, email address, rest of the information will get auto-populated. Now, of course, every day you have to check the body temperature of the staff when they are coming in for the shift. There's a provision for taking signature, to mark the attendance. This is again optional, from organization to organization. This is completely your decision whether you want to have a mandatory signature procedure or not. And you simply, but what is critical here is to take the temperature to ensure that the employee is healthy when he's reporting for a particular shift. If there is a variance in the body temperature, you could very well ask the employee to return home and take or seek medical assistance and not to continue with the shift. So you save the information. So as you can see, the employee is already checked in, so it's not allowing me to save the information again. Okay, so the system would have this provision to ensure there is no duplicacy happening at any stage. Now, once the employee is in the office and he starts with the shift, then as you can see from the bottom panel, I choose this in-office option. So this is the form that will appear on the mobile of the volunteer, So they would go and use this form in the similar way. He would just need to ask the employee ID That's it. Rest of the information will get auto-populated because this employee is already registered in the system. He will capture the body temperature and then save it. So this could be done multiple times. Okay, now since I have done it once, that does not mean that the next time I try to take the body temperature, it will stop me. No. So this is how you could you can do a routine checkup of the employee's health several times during a shift. Now, while the employee is exiting the office, here again, all you got to do is just key in the employee ID and the employee detail will get populated. You select the employee, but here there is one step which is different from what we do for the visitors. So visitors, when they're coming in, we take the body temperature, but while going out, we don't ask for one. But for employee, even if we choose not to do a routine checkup while they are, in their shift, but there are two mandatory, times when they are checked for their temperature. One is when they're coming in for the shift, and once where they are going back from the shift. Mandatorily, you will have to take the temperature of the employee to ensure that when the employee reported to the work, the employee was fit, and while going back also, he or she is healthy and are sound as far as the health is concerned. So you take that and then you exit. So if I try not to take, then it might very well stop me. Say it says error. So which means I definitely need to take the temperature, and only then I will be allowed to exit. Now this would also ensure that through system, when you're trying to drive or enforce these operating procedures for your organization, you also ensure that there is there is a strict adherence to these operating norms. Otherwise, if you're maintaining it on a register or a manual book, you never know. At times employees might choose to do it, at times they choose not to do it. You give somebody the responsibility, you never know whether they're doing it or not. But through system, you can get to know, and it will be ensured that these procedures are followed. So there is no getting away, because here you will have a set of report that will give you all the details. How many times the employee were checked for their body temperature, whether the routine checkups were conducted, when they came in, where they checked for temperature, while going out, where they checked for temperature. All that information will be available for you to analyze and take informed decision. Sanitization, the most critical function in today's time. Here you will see that the sanitization worker will get to see the routine cleaning activities. Okay, so there would be a list of all the routine cleaning that is required. So now this function of the app can be installed at a common area on a common device, like maybe at the reception or some common place, whereby the sanitization worker can access this particular function. Or even you can choose to give the access on the individual mobile of the sanitization worker. Now it's totally up to you as an organization. How would you like to give the access? Okay, so here the sanitization worker will come and see the list of all routine cleaning activities that needs to be done. So he'll go and choose one by one, and there he will get to know, which area is to be sanitized. Okay, so now this checklist name actually means, okay, now as I said earlier, in today's time, as we are going through this pandemic of COVID-19, the sanitization work will be carried out several times. Okay, so you can give a name, like, is this the first cleaning routine? Is it the second routine? Is it the third routine? Like, you can say the first routine starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, and so 8 to 9 first cleaning happens. Then in the afternoon between 12 to 1, the second round of cleaning happens. The third round of cleaning happens, say 4 to 5. So for one particular area, there could be a list of different cleaning times. Okay, how many times you want to do it for that room. So now every time, suppose if I say this is routine number 1 for the day for this area, then in that there would be a checklist of all the activities that needs to be carried out by the sanitization worker. Now For every routine, say routine 1, 2, 3, 4, how many routines you define, every routine could have different checklist. Okay, in the first routine, maybe he will do a complete sanitization. Second routine, he might choose to do maybe just the door handles. In the third routine, he would do maybe carry out a couple of more cleaning activities. So likewise, you could have several, checklist also for every routine that he does. Okay. So what the sanitization worker has to do is he does not have to key in any information. Okay. So all you got to do is come, see which area he needs to clean, which routine is he doing. Is it the first routine for the day, second routine for the day? He will select that. Okay. And select the department where he is carrying out this. So this executive boardroom is part of which department? HR, admin, or some other area of the organization. He'll select that, change the status to done. Once it is done, so he will, tick on the checkbox and forward it to the supervisor. So here you will have a list of all the supervisors, the name. Okay. And all you got to do is just save it. Now, the supervisor, what the supervisor would do is, the supervisor would further inspect on all the activities which is carried out by the sanitization worker. So it could be a routine cleaning, it could be a complaint resolution that the sanitization worker would have done. And now when the supervisor is inspecting the work, if he finds that the work is not done satisfactorily, then he could reassign the work to be reworked. Okay, so all that rework will come here. Okay, so let me show you how. So when the sanitization worker goes to this particular portion of the app, he will see that what are the reworks that need to be done. Now, reworks could be in the form of a complaint that was logged in by the user, the staff, or the employee, which was done but not done to the satisfaction of the one who logged the complaint. So he has reopened the complaint to be reworked. So he'll come and see what are those activities. The other is if the supervisor has rejected the routine cleaning. Okay, so here it will be a list of the reworks. He'll come and select it and see what the remark is from the supervisor. Okay, for example, here Biswajit is the supervisor who said not done properly. So he would go redo it, change the status and update it to be submitted again back to the supervisor to be re-evaluated. Okay. Now another thing that you would see here is there are complaint resolutions. So users would make complaint and this complaint will be addressed by the sanitization worker. So he would get to see which department is making complaint for which area, what is the complaint all about. Again, here also he does not have to key in any information, just simply select from the drop down menu, change the status and submit it. Essential item request. Sanitization workers can request for essential item. So there would be a drop down list, okay, from where he can request for the essential items. Again, the sanitization worker does not have to key in anything. The items which are there to be requested will be available in the form of a drop down list. So for example, face mask. Okay, simply come here, add the quantity and save it. Forward it to the supervisor and simply save it. Now the supervisor will get to know who has raised the request for what all essential item, and supervisor would finally approve the request. And then there are the reports which are available here. The reports would consist of like reports on routine cleaning that the sanitization worker has done, what were the list of all the works that were supposed to be done as part of routine cleaning, when was it done, how many times it was done, whether it has been forwarded to the supervisor. If yes, has the supervisor approved it as a completed task, or has he not approved it? Is it still pending, or has it been rejected? All of that information can be figured out using this report here. inspection. So the supervisor will simply be able to see from here how many pending inspection are there for routine cleaning, how many pending inspection are required for complaints that have been resolved, how many pending approvals are there for essential item. So once he sees this, he simply goes and click on this and the list will appear in front of him. Exactly in the similar way as we operated the other functions of the app. Here too, the supervisor will go open the form and see who has made this request. His request is from Anup Singh. What is it that he is requesting? What is the quantity? So he would simply approve and then update it. Coming to the user panel, user can log complaint or share feedback. Okay, so if there is a complaint which has not been addressed, then the user can share the feedback. The feedback could be also in the form of a compliment for a good work which is done. So here I am trying to log a complaint, say I am from the HR department trying to raise a complaint for the conference room where I feel that the whiteboard needs to be cleaned. So I simply raise the complaint. The moment I raise the complaint, the system will automatically assign a complaint number. Now you can very well use this view option to go and see all the complaints that you have logged. Like I just logged a complaint, so this is the reference number of that complaint which is appearing here. So you could use this reference number to further track the work that has been done on your complaint, or you can use this reference number in your feedback as well. So once you make a complaint, you will be able to track the complaint, the action which has been taken, and if it is to your satisfaction, the user who has raised the complaint will be the one to close the complaint as well. Use essential item in the similar fashion as we saw how the sanitization worker could order for essential item. The users or the staff member, employees can also order for essential items right from this app itself. Okay, and again the question is, do you see, I had not chosen the supervisor, so it showed an error. I'm choosing the supervisor. Now I just forwarded it, so the supervisor will get to know there is an essential item request coming from a particular employee or a staff. Now again, another important question I want to address here is that user panel again can be accessed by the users or staff of your organization on their individual mobile, or this could also be a function which is accessible to the employees from a common area. So you could put it on a device on a common area for employees to come and access it. Then, as I said, the list of all the volunteers, their name, email address, phone number will be available for user to see whom to reach out to in case of an eventuality. Then you have the do's and don'ts list to be followed. That similarly, there are reports which are available here also. Last but not the least, the admin setup. So this is where you would be defining all the masters, the setup of the app, like creating the user. Now, user creation is only possible at the head office level, not at the branch level. Okay, so you create the user, you give him the access control, you broadcast the message from here. So there is another important thing that I would like to highlight, that the message or the alert that you're going to broadcast could be intended to everyone, or it could be for a specific user. So you have both the options available. All the essential item which of all essential item here, and whatever you put as part of the list of essential item will be available in the form of a drop down to the sanitization worker or to the users to raise a request for. So that list is generated from here. You would here such as admin, HR, finance, etc., etc. You would create the different work areas like visitor lobby, canteen, or food court, meeting rooms, etc., etc. Now, let me also tell you one more thing. If your organization has vehicles, say buses or vans or cars, you could also treat them as an area to be sanitized. However, they would not form part of the routine cleaning. Okay, so in the routine cleaning, it would be the areas such as visitor lobby, meeting rooms, your various departments of the office. But vans, cars, buses can be, treated as an area to be sanitized, but will be only sanitized when a, user is requesting to sanitize that particular area. Okay. Now, with a combination of department and area, you will create the checklist, okay, the checkpoints and the activities. So if you remember in the previous screen where I was showing you that the sanitization worker goes and sees the routine cleaning that he has to do, there it was showing the department and the routine that he is doing, whether it is routine 1, 2, or 3 or 4 for the day. Depending on that, what is the activities that he has to do in that particular routine was part of the checklist, which is created here in the master setup. So you define all this in the masters through the admin setup. I think that's it. Concern, as you would have seen, this is very user friendly. It's very simple to use. We are ensuring that minimum data entry is required, and where all we can provide a drop down list and simple selections, it is being managed, in that way. There is a minimum data entry which is required. So so it's very easy to operate for anyone. So that's it from my side. Over to Avnish. Avnish, thank you very much for this time. I think you can take the proceedings further.
Thank you, Joji. Thank you very much for such a detailed demonstration. So as we mentioned before that, since all the audience were in listen only mode, so I could see there are a few questions which has come across. So I would like to read all the questions, and I would like to also answer at the same time. So some of the questions are of the similar nature, so I've just consolidated all the questions. So the first question is, does this app require any kind of database? So we are using Oracle Express Edition, which is free. And another question is this app is user access right controlled? Yes, it is rights controlled. So can I use it for multiple locations? Yes, of course, you can use it for multiple locations. Is there any limitation on number of users? See, there is no limitation as such on number of users. And does this app work on all kind of mobile and tablets? This is question we usually come across. So yes, it works on any kind of Android, iOS, and Windows device. So thank you everyone. Thank you very much for your patience and for your time. And I hope all of you are keeping safe. And Joji, Irfan, and Sefakor, thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation and introduction of the product. So that is from my side. And in case if you have any further question, please feel free to contact your local representative. Thank you so much. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Avnish, for being a wonderful host. Thanks to all our participants for being patient and listening through the entire demonstration. I hope it made sense for you and you found it useful. As I said, this would be useful in present time, as well as it would form part of your digital transformation or digital strategy for your business. We would encourage you to share your feedback, comments. If you have any further queries, please feel free to reach out to us, and we would love to hear from you. Thank you very much once again to all participants. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Joji. Thank you, Avnish.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, Joji. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.